gray mode. Right, so now that we have that, I will just move on to the form component now. And to the form components, the same thing apply. We need form component, and just compare your bootstrap documentation. Just look for forms. You can see forms, you will see overview, you will see different types of form components that you have as a store. You see different type, you see disable, you see a whole number of it. So you can even see, let's say you need form text. You can see password, you can see input group. Like you have, if you want anyone, so all you just need to do is just once you see the one you like, just copy it then and import the component, then you are free to use it. But let's just come back to the overview. Let's come back to the overview. Form control, I think I should have it here, the one I want to use. Let me just use this. I'll just copy this form. Of course, you can always still change it to whatever it exists that will suit what you need it for. So just put form. Let me just write the modified one. Of course, you can always modify it to whatever it suits your case, but for the first time you are using it, you can always pick it from there. So I will just have the form group, then I will have the class name. Let me just put the margin top with 3, and I don't need this. And I'll just add some form control. The form control is the form element itself. So I don't need the label, so I can remove the label. So for the form control, you have the type of text, type of input that the form will take. Then it should be text, and also the placeholder. Let me give the placeholder to be according to what we have, to be receiver, and also we have the. Before I start changing it, let's just be sure it's working effectively. So you can see we have the form. So we have the form imported already. Then we should be good to go with that. So just save and let's see what we have. So it's always good to always run as you are working on it, so that you be sure everything is working effectively before you move too far. And I think this is fine. At least it's getting closer to what we have here. So now that we have that, you can see this. So let's move to the next one. But before we move to the next one, okay, let's just move to the next one. So you can see this form group is what is housing everything. So I can just duplicate it. So now the next one can then be the pickup date. So every other thing is still the same. This is the receiver, this is the pickup date. So I can just change the type. Now instead of taking text, now I want you to take dates. And also I will change the placeholder. The placeholder is what the user will see before they start typing anything. So the placeholder will pick up dates. And now let me just duplicate it before I go and check the outputs. So the next one, according to a wireframe, is the distance. The distance will take a type of text. So let's just call this text, and I'll just put this as distance. Then I can duplicate it again. You highlight it and do Alt Shift down arrow, and that will duplicate for you. So the next thing after the distance is the price. So the price, the type should be number. And also the placeholder, let's just put it as price. And it's the price that the user wants to pay, or the price that he has been charged to pay. So now that we have that, we can then duplicate it, and then that is all based on our wireframe. So the next thing we need now is our button. So you can just look for where you have button already. I think we have button in the shipment list. So just pick that button and use it. But once you pick the components, make sure that you import it inside this file. So I'll just come here. I have button imported. I even have button here already. I'm just supposed to have picked this, but fine, we have it. So the variant, instead of having it as dark, you can see that the color is blue. So let's set it to primary, and let's add some class so that it occupy the entire width according to our wireframe. So I'll just say width of 100. So that makes it occupy the entire width. And also I want to add some margin top, like I've been doing for the forms, to be margin top of 3. So on click, let's just still leave the on click for now. We are going to get to that very soon. So if we save it, so I'll just change this to create shipment. So I'll save it. So once I save it, I come in here. You can see we have the receiver, we have the dates, we have the distance, and we have the price, which is what we have here: receiver, dates, distance, and price. So if you want to add label too, it's fine. You can always add label. So in case you want to add label, just come in here and pick label. So let's say you want to have label. Just see how the label would be for. So the label must be inside the group. So let me just do receiver address, receiver wallet address. So I say so you can see, we check it, you can see you have it here, but I need to change something from label. So you can see you have the label. So, but personally I don't want to put label, just to be able to just focus on the key functionality. So now that we have that, it's now time for us to update our form details. As we get the form details. Another thing I want you to notice is if you save it, notice that when you bring up this pop-up, the modal, if you click outside, it's like, in case the user mistakenly click outside the port, it will close the modal. So in case you don't want that to be done, like you want, even if the user click outside, then you still want them to still be able to see the modal. All you just need to do is just to copy your code, then say that backdrop will be static. So with that, even if the user click outside the modal, it will not close it. So you can see until when they click on the close button. So let's just do the same thing for our other start shipment modal. So I'll just copy this property, and I'll go to this start shipment, and I'll set it, and I'll save it. So with that, if I click outside the modal, it will still not close it. So now that we have that, let's now go ahead to update. Like as the user is entering some values, we want to be updating it. So what are we going to be using to update it is, we are going to be using the useState variable. The useState, now you know what the useState is doing for us. It's just for us to be able to update values. So like, since the user is entering something, is going to be an object where we are going to be getting values from the user, then we are going to be submitting that value to the blockchain later, so once we get to the blockchain aspect. So now let's just set our values. So I'll just set it. The value now is, I want to set the variable shipment, and let me just say shipment details. So I'll also now say set shipment details. So it will be an object, before, if it's true or false, it's boolean, meaning that either true or false, but for now it is. So you can see I have this is the variable name, shipment details, and then in case I want to update it, then I'll be using this set. So I'm setting for parameters, which is the receiver. Initially I'm setting to be nothing, then I'm setting the pickup date, then I'm setting the distance, then I'm setting the price. So having done that, then I'll just come in here. So there's a value that as the user is typing, I want to be able to take the value. The value here is shipment details dot here is what is the receiver. So receiver, and as the user is typing, so it will be changing the inputs of the form. So I'll just say elements. So I'll then say set shipment details to an object. So I'll destructure. This is to destructure the value. So just to get the current value of shipment details, destructure it. That means get the receiver, get the pickup date, get the distance, get the price. So once I structure it, so I'll just update the receiver to the event of this form dot target dot value. Don't worry too much about the technical details, but just that what I'm just doing is that as the user is updating this form, I'm just updating the value of the receiver based on this value that we have set. And for the user to be able to see what he's typing, I need to also be updating this and to also set the value to the receiver. So it's very simple as just saying setting the value of the form to be shipment details, pick the object value receiver, and as the user is changing the details, then be updating it. So now if you save it, you can just do the same thing for the other ones. So just value and change. So the same thing, if you just follow it literally, it's just the same process. So you just do the same thing here. Value here will be what? Yes, you get it right. It's so pick up it. Then on change, you first destructure it to get the current value of that object. Then here you'll be setting the pickup date. To the value of this form. So you do the same thing for this one too. In this case, yes, you get it correctly. If to be distance. So distance, then you destructure it, then now it will be distance, then you set it to the value that of this form element. So you can do this without even anybody assisting now. So the same thing apply. So here it will be the price. So and once I destructure it, then I'll set the price to the value of this form feed, and that will be it. So if I save it, let's be sure everything is still working as we want it to work. Okay, yeah, still working. So this should only take number. So if it set number, it will create. So when I click on create shipment, so I can just have a function to submit my shipment. So I can just say, let me create a function to create the shipment. So we are going to be linking this to our database very soon. So but let's focus on the user interface for now. So I can just say create, let me say undo shipment creation. So I'll set that on object. For now, let me just say console.log shipment created. So but for now, we are going to, this is not the function that we are going to be using, but I just want to be sure everything is working effectively. So let's just save and see. So you just come to your function, to your button. So when I click on this button, I should just say undo shipment creation. However, normally for your form, when you submit it, it's reload the page. So in order to stop the form from reloading the page, when I click on the submit button or the form button that is in the bottom of the form, I'll just set the on submit in order to ensure that it does not reload. I'll just say that the event of this form then I'll just prevent default, because default behavior is to reload the page because it's expected to submit it to the server. So I don't want it to reload the page. So I'll just say event.prevent default. So with that, the page will not be reloaded. I'll just come in here. So I can just fill in the receiver. Let me just put some random details. Let me pick the date to be today, and let me also pick the what's this now, distance. Let me also just say 23 kilometer, and the price, let me say it is 12. If I click on create shipment, it will be logged to the console. You can see that if you check the console, you can see you have your shipment subjects. You can see the distance, you can see the pickup date, you can see the price, you can see the receiver according to what I have here. And so once I click on that, I want to reset my form. I can just say that set shipment details. Set shipment details to an empty object. Yeah. Just set it to the default behavior so that once I click on the submit, you can see that it resets it. Alright, so of course we are still going to look more into that when we get to the backend side. And with that, which is the blockchain side, and with that, I think we are done with the hard tracking. So if I click on hard tracking, I put my receiver, I put my date, I put my distance, I put my price, and I click on create. So once I do the create, it should also, once it's created, it should also close the modal. But let's still leave it like that and just close it like that, since we are still working on the user interface. So we are done with this particular one.